Cancers, what is up, Cancers? I'm gonna just get to the point. We got a system. We have a powerful system that works wonders, and it's so simple. You get these messages, you get these cheat codes for your month within 5 minutes, within 3 minutes. Dare I say 2 minutes, within 2. These 2 booklets contain the right mentality to go through your month through month, and specifically for September 2026 for you. This first book has these statements, the answers that I channeled. They call it channeling through reading, And all it says for you, Cancer, for September 2026, it says, no, it is turning out way better than expected. That's all you got to do. Know that it is turning out way better than expected. So here are the prompts. Now here are the questions, the prompts made by ChatGPT, by me inputting these readings, channeled messages for all the signs. So let's see what ChatGPT came up with. 3 questions to help you download the message of September. What if I don't need to solve what I cannot yet see? That's the first question you should ask yourself throughout the month. Here's the second one. Can I allow uncertainty to remain empty instead of turning into a story with the worst outcome? Last prompt is, what if what's unfolding behind the scenes is better than my worries? What if what's unfolding behind the scenes is better than my worries? Let me write that in there. Is better than my worries. So let's get to the first question. What if I don't need to solve what I cannot yet see? And it's these type of questions that help counterbalance these right words in your face, questions in your face, that help you actually get a hold of yourself. And now that's a powerful use of words. The right words and the right combination can help you somehow relax, or just on the inside, It's like you have an equation that this statement just solved. You have an equation inside of you called uncertainty, insecurity. Here's the first. It was, what if I don't need to solve what I cannot yet see? Then you'd be okay with what isn't, you'll be okay with someone not progressing or not worrying about the fact that they're not progressing or gaining, or you're not progressing or gaining. But that's purely emotional, because either you already know that there is progress, there is something in the works. So you don't have to solve what you cannot see, because you are actually more stable than the worry of someone or something not working out. Because in fact, that is not the case. That's just your view of someone or the situation looking like it's not working to you, when actually you can let it be and gain all this feeling back. Let yourself be here. Let it be unorthodox, and you gain all this trust, ease back, instead of just needing details you can't see, only hurting your head and potentially the environment. So let's write for this question. What if I don't need to solve what I cannot yet see? I would say, yes. You can. What if I don't need to solve what I cannot see? I write, you can be unorthodox. Orthodox. You can let it be unorthodox and trust past your perception. You can let it be unorthodox by trusting past your perceptions. So I put "and" when it's really by trusting past your perceptions. Okay. Can I allow uncertainty to remain empty instead of turning it into a story with the worst outcome? Can you allow uncertainty to remain empty without turning it into a story with the worst outcome? Okay. Okay. This is you recognizing to look at your emotions more clearly, more light. Okay, you're worried about what you can't see. Well, with this recognition, you grip your emotions, you grip yourself like this. Recognition. This is you in the middle. This is a higher, lighter form of emotion. Seeing this heavy, paranoid, mistrustful, yet in recognition. So apparently you're in the middle of having recognition, which is success, but you don't even recognize it. And then we have the opposite sign, the devil, which is heavy obsession, obsession, worry. It's really heavy fixation. Anything you obsess on. Yeah. This would have been a heavy battle to have you get over. But counterbalancing, my readings are all about counterbalancing using the most simplest words. So yes, you might not be excited about this because you're used to being led by your sight and putting things together. And your victory comes through not putting it together and still trusting. So let's see, what would I write? Can I allow uncertainty to remain empty instead of turning it into a story with the worst outcome? I would write, yes, you would see your emotions. You would see your emotions. You would stand back and see your emotions if you did that. Yes, you can, and you would see your emotions. You would catch your emotions. Yes, you could catch your emotions if you did this. So yes, you can allow uncertainty to remain empty instead of turning it into a story, instead of turning it into, or turning into, damn it, put it right here, turning it into a story with the worst outcome. So I put yes, you can see your emotions this way. From a higher position. You will see your emotions from a higher position. Calmer position. And this is power. This equals power. Not being taken over by your emotions. This is a form of power at this point. Shit. Now let's get on to the last prompt. What if what's unfolding behind the scenes is better than my worries? Is better than my worries. And that's exactly why it's powerful to see your emotions from this higher position. This is when you have success, because sometimes the only obstacle is the insecure person within us, inside of us. That's the wrecking ball that could wreck any opportunity. Our inability to be calm can sometimes be the only obstacle. Seriously. Because things could be unfolding. That's why I like the idea of, I like planning, things growing. Sometimes you just need another day to see, what would you call it? Symptoms pop up in the plant. You can't see, you can only play it when doing something about it, when it pops up, when it becomes evident. So let's get back to the prompts. What if what's unfolding behind the scenes is better than my worries? Seems like the answer is like there's only worries, and there's only worries. There's only worries. There's only worries. You have a lot of worries built up. You have a lot of built up worrying about this water sign. You have so much built up, backed up worry. At this point, you need to look at your emotions from a higher perspective. That's the only solution, because you're potentially building up a wrecking ball if you don't do that. So the power is remaining trusting in that this is working out. Dare to believe it is going to work out. It's powerful. Yes, you have to be comfortable in the midst of something you're either not giving to, or you're more worried by the emotion. You're worried by the idea that is not balancing out. That is doing more damage than what is actually unfolding. You worrying about that is actually more damage than what is actually unfolding. That is how you can be a wrecking ball when things are actually forming. The emotional perception is more powerful than the actual reality. You have to watch out for that. When the emotional perception is powerful than the actual reality. So I know we had the cards come out and read, but all the reading is saying is dare to be in the situation. You got to invest by being in the situation. You invest trusting through the situation. Yes. Dare I say surrendering, needing the connection of the Sag, or so it's like surrendering, trying to force this balance to come out, because trust me, the game's not easy. So let me get to this answer. So yes, what is unfolding is better than your worries. Yeah, but the battle is you seeing that. The battle is you, like a yoga exercise, staying in this tough position against your emotions. Your emotions, you're led by emotions. So now you gotta be an Aquarius. I like how these signs are actually naturally Aquarius, then your sign, Libra. It's almost like it's saying unorthodox mentality. You being in this position is justice, is the correct view, balanced view in this situation, this system. Yeah, you can be solid in this situation. And there's transformation. Scorpio, so yes. Yes, that is exactly the case. What's unfolding behind the scenes is better than your worries. But the obstacle is daring to keep investing, dare to stay still, dare to stay here, dare to find out. Dare to find out is the solution. Dare to trust and find out. And find out. Dare to trust and find out. There we go. So later, Cancers, you actually have the shortest video so far. And then, so Libra and Aquarius. So I'll read Aquarius and Libra's messages before I get off the camera, because since they came out. So remember, here's your message. No, it is turning out way better than expected. Libra's messages: don't trust in your insecure view or reactions. Move past senses. Move past the senses. Move past the senses. Here is Aquarius. Remain secure in your being. Seek to bridge all gaps. Don't insert emotion. Be professional. Treat your character like it's a business. As in, don't bring emotion into it at all. Know there is a way to make this function smoothly, unorthodoxly. So later, Cancers, I believe you are armed for your month. You have the cheat codes for your month. So yeah, later, enjoy your September in this year, 2026. Like, subscribe, share this video. It's a full system, okay? Within the first 2 minutes, the first 2 minutes and 22 seconds, you have the right questions to ask yourself, to remind yourself that it's turning out way better than expected. Isn't that crazy how sometimes you are the obstacle, your trust is the obstacle? It's so simple. I mean, this is what we spend our whole lives working on. It should be easy. Later, Cancers. Enjoy your messages. Enjoy those cheat codes.